Why do we do things? Do we do them because we've always done them? And if that's our rationale for doing something, why can't we change it? See, change is one of those things that we talk about a lot. New ideas frequently produce resistance. People don't like to change. We have pathways in our heads. We follow them constantly. We've done it again and again and again. When we veer from that, it's difficult. It's painful. But see, resistance comes from several things. One is loss of control. We as human beings like to be in control of our environment. When we are not in control, we start to resist. We don't like to change. When that blue form is no longer put in that drawer, I don't feel in control. Part of my job is gone. I was picking up that blue form. It's no longer there. I've lost some control of my environment. Lack of information. We as human beings do not like to change unless we know why. And sometimes some of those executives issue edicts. Do it because I said do it. This is a real statement from an executive that I worked with. The company was in a period of change. They were implementing a new system. To start the session off, he got up in front of the room and said this, word for word, "We didn't want to tell you about the changes because we didn't want rumors to start." I hope you find that as amusing as I do, because when do rumors start? When we don't have information. You see, a lack of information produces resistance. We don't want to change. Finally, events and decisions which seem meaningless. Now, sometimes they aren't meaningless, see, because if I am a manager or an executive or one of those people that made the decision, I know why we're doing this. But maybe we should tell somebody? Maybe we should let people know? Because people will resist the things that seem meaningless. You see, I spent 3 years of my life in the United States Army. And there was that old stereotype which said, one day you dig a foxhole, and the next day, because you have nothing else to do, you fill it in. It is meaningless. And when we do things that are meaningless, we resist. We don't like meaningless work. Resistance results in several things. Here's what it results in. First of all, we fight it. We don't like to do it. We will fight. We'll get up and we will try to stop it because it's not comfortable. We can also get away from it. We can fly. We can get out of there. Go someplace else. Do something else. That's also painful. That's a change. The third thing, though, is called sabotage. Sometimes the roots of words tell us more than the word itself. There's a wooden shoe up there. During the Industrial Revolution in France, the peasants from the countryside found new jobs in the cities. It was the Industrial Revolution. They came into the factories. Well, peasants did not have leather shoes. They were too expensive. They had wooden shoes. They would go into the factories to work. And if you remember the old factories, some of you might remember, maybe not. They had big gears, big teeth in those gears. And the gears would crunch together to run everything. Well, you see, the peasants, who are now industrial workers, when they did not want to work, they would take off their wooden shoes, which were, by the way, called sabots. And they would throw them in the gears. And they would sabotage the gears. And with wooden shoes in the gears, work stopped. And when you have resistance, work stops. Managers contribute to it through something that I call the "I knew it wouldn't work" philosophy. How many times have you gone into an organization? How many times have you been in an organization when you hear a manager or a supervisor or somebody higher up say, "Hey, you know, I knew it wouldn't work. They asked me and I told them, I knew it wouldn't work." You know what that means? That manager is taking off that sabot and throwing it in the gears. They are sabotaging the entire operation. Change is difficult. I live in that great dairy state of Wisconsin. License plates say America's Dairyland. About the turn of that same century where that ad came from, 1900, there was a lyricist named Sam Voss. Sam was wandering through the fields. He saw a newborn calf. And in case you have not seen a newborn calf, let me describe a newborn calf to you. A newborn calf has a small body, long legs. It does not walk a straight path. It walks a crooked path. Sam saw this. He was moved to write a verse. That verse is called the calf path. It goes like this. One day, through the primeval wood, a calf walked home as good calves should, but made a trail all bent askew, a crooked trail, as all calves do. That trail was taken up the next day by a dog that passed along the way. And then a wise bellwether sheep pursued that trail o'er vale and steep and drew the flock behind him too, as good bellwethers always do. And from that day o'er hill and glade and through those old woods a path was made. And many men wound in and out and dodged and turned and bent about and uttered words of righteous wrath because 'twas such a crooked path. But still they followed. Do not laugh. The first migrations of that calf. The years went by in swiftness fleet. That path became a village street. And this, before men were aware, a city's crowded thoroughfare. Each day 100,000 route trailed that zigzag calf about, and o'er his crooked journey went the traffic of a continent. 100,000 men are led by one calf near, 2 centuries dead. A moral lesson this might teach, were I ordained and called to preach. For men are prone to go it blind along the calf paths of their mind. They work away from sun to do what other men have done. They follow in the beaten track and out and in and forth and back, and still their devious course pursue to keep the path that others do. But how the wise old wood gods laugh who saw that first primeval calf. When you leave here today, there is something you are no longer allowed to say. Those words are, I can't do that because I've never done it that way before. Thank you for being here. I've enjoyed being with you today.